in the cloud service models, all of that, right? We're going to just take a quick deep dive. So it's going to be a deep dive, but of course it's going to be brief, so we can be out of here. Okay, so as I'm speaking, if you have a question, you can drop it in the chat box. I may not see your hand raised, so Adidotun, feel free to like call me back. Maybe if you guys stop hearing me, or there's a question that I need to answer, you can just like unmute your mic and call me. Thank you.
No problem.
So, what is the cloud, and what is cloud computing? So, the cloud is not a physical place. I'm sure we know that. The cloud is not a physical place. The cloud um, is more of like a network of servers, right? That delivers resources like storage, database, computing servers, networking, whatever it is that we need, and you can access all of this over the internet, right? And it's on demand. You can use it. You can scale up. You can scale down as you need. I would explain scaling up and scaling down very soon. So just imagine having like or renting an apartment instead of you need, maybe you need an apartment or something, maybe to sell stuff, right, or to host something, instead of going to buy the whole house. Because when you buy the whole house, you are going to manage the house, right? It's going to be yours. You need to maintain it. Instead of, maybe you just rent, okay, like a shortlet. Okay, I'm going to need this for this particular period of time, um and this shortlet has what I need, right? And you can just rent it, and everything is provided for you, everything is managed, right? That is just like the cloud. um you can get what you need on demand whenever you need it, without having to manage all those, underlying infrastructure, and you are good to go to use it for what you need. Now, it's flexible because you can use it for various things. It's scalable. So when I said scaling up and scaling down, scaling up is, um maybe you need more servers, or you need more processing power, you need more memory, you need more storage, right? That's scaling up. You're able to scale up. Or scale down, you don't really need as much. You just need, like, okay, you just need some amount, a very few amounts of servers, or smaller memory, and all of that. You can scale down. It depends on what you want to do. And it's very cost effective as well, because I mean, it helps you not to overspend. It helps you calculate, okay, this is what I need, right? And I can just use what I need for the particular period I need it. Instead of, I mean, just like the analogy I give, like buying a whole house because you want to do some stuff there, and then you'd be done, and you don't know when next you will need it. So rather than renting for a particular period of time. So it's cost effective as well, right? And then organizations can focus on other things. I can focus on my business activities rather than, using my time to manage all the underlying infrastructure, beneath like these services. Okay, so some key characteristics of cloud computing. Number one, on-demand self-service. On-demand self-service, just like the name implies, whenever you need it, you can instantly go to your cloud provider, whatever it is that you need, whether it's a server or you need storage. Oh, I'm trying to set up something, I need a database. Okay, I just go to the cloud, I just provision it. You can instantly access that, right? On demand, self-service. You don't need like anybody to do anything for you. You can just go there as far as you have access. It also provides broad network access. You can access your cloud services from anywhere. You can access it from anywhere, from any location, from any device, as far as you have an internet connection. Okay, I provisioned a server in Nigeria. Okay, maybe I traveled to China. I need to access that server. I need to make a change. Something is happening. I can access it as far as I have an internet connection, right? And this is not feasible with on-prem. On-prem, where you have a server set up, and your server is located in Lagos, right? And you traveled, you will have to either come back or send someone to that location to do any change that you may want to do, um, physical change and all of that. But this is not the case for cloud. We also have resource pooling. So cloud providers pool resources together. So you have like various resources, storage, power, servers, all of these are in a pool, and then as a user comes and say, oh, I need a server, okay, take this, it allocates it to the server, or to the user, I need storage, okay, take this, I need this, okay, take this, right? So it dynamically allocates, and then it doesn't just leave. So it avoids situations where some servers are overloaded while others sit idle, right? It just manages that for you. And then there's elasticity as well. Elasticity also refers to like scalability. As I said, users can scale their resources up. So there are some organizations where like throughout the year their usage, their demand is the same, right? But there are some organizations where, oh, like per month, maybe January to and maybe January to March, we have peak demand, we have high demand. From April to June, we don't have so much demand, just there. From June to maybe the end of the month, end of the year, we have like low usage. Or even per day, it could be like okay, from 8 to 7 p.m. we have high usage. From 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. is low, right? It's just there, is medium. And then from 12 a.m. to the next morning, to the next 8 a.m., it's very, very low, right? If you allocate resources that you are using for when you have high demand, and you are still using, yeah, you don't set scalability to scale it. When you're having low demand, your resources are just going to be wasting because you have allocated a lot to fit for that peak period. So cloud services or cloud providers allow you to easily scale. Okay, by this time, from this time to this time, I need this amount of processing power or whatever it is you need. From this time to this time, I don't need as much, and then you can save costs, right? So elasticity provides that for you. Measured service, you can measure what you're using, you can measure the resources, you can see, okay, this is the storage I'm using, the storage amount I'm using, the power I'm using, the whatever I'm using, right? And then it just helps for transparency because you know how much they charge per what you use per service. So you can easily tell, okay, this is how much I'll be billed and all of that. Okay, now let's go to some perks of cloud computing. I think I've already mentioned some of them, right? Like the flexibility and scalability part of it. As I said, yeah, it can help businesses adapt more quickly to market changes. Um, yeah, adapt more to market changes, or demands and all of that, meet changing demands and all of that. And then of course you can save costs. Also, like when you outsource all this IT infrastructure management and all of that, even apart from scalability, because you are outsourcing these things, you can reduce your capital expenditures and all of that, and just pay for the resource you are using, and then you can save more costs compared to on-premise solutions. Also, we have improved accessibility and collaboration. Now, because I said you can access your cloud services from the cloud, from anywhere, as far as you have an internet connection. So it improves collaboration. You can work from home, you can work from anywhere, and you can have real-time collaboration. Maybe an application you are building on the app, maybe a server you're working on, anything, storage, anybody can access, as far as you give them access, of course, can access it and collaborate with you. Okay, so now to challenges. I've mentioned like a lot of beautiful things about the cloud, right? But it's not always sunshine and roses and all of that. There are some challenges. So some challenges are security risks, right? So cloud providers already provide very strong security measures. they already have that in place. But there are some things that you still have to put in place as an organization. Data breaches, data privacy, unauthorized access. Those are risks um, that can happen, right, in a cloud environment. So they need to be properly managed. So it's like analogy would be like, oh, you stay maybe in the building you stay, you have like maybe you need a key before you can enter, and or you need a card before you can enter. Like, oh yeah, it's very secure. My house is very secure and everything, right? But then if you maybe give your key to anybody, the place is secure. Well, if anybody can access your keys, you're actually secure because anybody can impersonate you, anybody can access, right, when they should not have access. So while they've provided a safe or secure infrastructure, you still need to enforce it. You still need to put some things in place, right, as per requirements. So security risk, and this is something that some organizations don't prioritize, and that's why you could be having data breaches or issues or exploits in the cloud. Compliance. Now there are various data security regulations. It depends on the particular industry, various regulations, compliance that you have to meet, right? So if an organization is not looking at, okay, as per my industry, and these are the standards I need to make sure that I'm meeting up to, and they're not looking at that and how it aligns with their cloud providers, they may fall short here. Another would be performance and latency. Of course, if you have slow internet in some locations, can cause delays in accessing the cloud resources, right? That goes without saying. So, like, you're streaming a video, but you have slow internet, it's going to buffer, it's going to lag, right? Another thing would be vendor lock-in. Now, vendor lock-in is like, it's just like you have maybe moved to a new house, using a lot of house analogies. You move to a new house, and then you are comfortable and everything, but then you find an issue, or it's not meeting your requirements as you'd want it to. So it'd be difficult to switch. It might be more expensive to now start switching to another house, right? So when you've become reliant with a particular security with a particular cloud provider, might be hard to switch, right? So that can be another challenge of cloud computing, vendor locking. Okay, so let's go to cloud service models, right? I'm sure we've heard of IaaS, infrastructure as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and software as a service. These are the three major cloud service models. Um, so before I before I continue, can anybody give me like examples of infrastructure as a service? Anybody, just unmute your mic and let me know.
Software as a service.
Sorry?
Software as a service.
Okay, you want to give an example of software as a service?
Yes.
Okay, please go on.
You want me to explain?
No. So I asked if you could give me an example of infrastructure as a service, or maybe platform as a service, or software as a service, like an example of maybe
Emailing.
email.
Messaging. Yeah.
Okay, which of them does it fall under?
Software as a
Okay,
service.
okay. Thank you. Yes, that's very correct. Thank you.
I think
Anybody?
David's hand is up and Benedict. But
Okay,
yeah,
please.
David.
Yeah.
Hi, David. Are you trying to talk?
Yeah, it's an example of
Okay.
infrastructure as a service. That would be virtual machine.
Thank you very much. That's correct. Yes, thank you.
And Benedict. I think I saw Benedict's hand up. Hi, Benedict. Were you trying to say something?
Yeah, I was trying to say something.
Okay.
An example of infrastructure as a service, Amazon Web Services, EC2.
Very correct. Thank you. Okay, so
Okay, for platform as a service, in Azure, I'm gonna check app service.
app service. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, that's correct as well. Thank you. Okay, so let me just briefly explain these three service models, and then if you have any questions, please drop it or let me know. Infrastructure as a service. So infrastructure as a service provides on-demand access, right? On-demand access to computing resources. So when you think of IaaS, think of computing resources. Obviously, and some examples of computing resources are virtual machines, like someone just mentioned, virtual machines, storage, networking, databases, whatever it is, right? Computing resources, think IaaS. And then when these are provisioned, users can scale, they can do whatever they need to do on this resource, and they don't need to manage the physical hardware. I will still go my next slide. I'm going to like give you a fun comparison of all of them, but yes, yeah, with IaaS, you don't need to manage like the physical hardware. Like for example, the virtual machine, you just need to access it via the internet right after deploying. You are not managing any on-premise physical hardware or stuff like that, right? So that's for IaaS. You have full control of how you want to use it, right? If it's storage, I can put whatever I want to put in there. If it's virtual machine, I can deploy whatever I want to deploy or test whatever what I want to test there, right? Now, platform as a service is more like platform as a service is like analogy would be like renting a deployment environment, like um it's like renting a deployment environment and all the tools you would need to do what you want to do in that environment. Maybe you are trying to build an app, right? PaaS will offer you like the operating systems, maybe programming language environments, databases, web servers, and all of that. And then your developers can concentrate on doing what you actually call them to do, which is like building the app. So it just provides that enabling environment for you in the cloud. That is what platform as a service is. So when you think of platform as a service, think enabling environment, think deployment environment in the cloud, okay? And then software as a service. Software as a service is like complete, ready to use applications. I'm ready to use. You just need to access me, maybe via my mobile app or my web browser, just like someone mentioned. For an example would be like emails, maybe Gmail or something, right? I'm ready to use. Just install me or something. Just like get my app or access me via web application. You don't need to worry. You don't need to make any extra configuration and all of that. Maybe just subscribe based on the software, and then you can access it. So yeah, an example would be, so okay, so let me give examples. An example of IaaS would be AWS, Amazon Web Services, as someone mentioned, Microsoft Azure, GCP. Also, like these things, these providers provide resources like virtual machines, so EC2, Azure VMs, storage, networking, whatever it is. That is infrastructure as a service. And then for PaaS, app service, as mentioned, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, where you can build applications, Google App Engine, Adobe Commerce, and all of that, right? And then for SaaS, which is our software as a service, our ready to use software as a service, think Gmail, think Microsoft 365, think Slack, Dropbox, Salesforce, Google Workspace, and stuff like that. Those are examples of SaaS. Okay, so let's go to this fun example, pizza, right? So I'm sure, so when you look, I found this and I found it interesting because I just related to it. So we are not looking at containers as a service. Just remove that. We're not looking at functions as a service. We're just looking at IaaS, PaaS, and software as a service. And then we are comparing them against the traditional on-premise. Now, on-premise is not cloud, definitely. This is just deploying whatever you need to deploy on-prem, right? And then these are the things that are provided by the cloud provider, or some of them are provided by the cloud provider, depending on your cloud service model. Some of them would be provided by you. Now, so as I'm explaining this, if there's a part you don't understand, just unmute your mic and let me know. So as you see, the blue is what you manage, the purple is what the vendor manages, right? And then we're also using Pizza as an example. So if you're looking at traditional on-prem, you are managing everything, you're doing everything. So it's like you're at home. You need to get, if you want to make a pizza, using the on-prem example, you get your gas, you must have oven, you provide your fire, right? The pizza, the drink, the friends that you want to be with you, the conversation, you bring all of them. You're the one handling it. Nobody's helping you, right? In terms of like management or a cloud service or something. Nobody, you are managing everything. You're managing all of this yourself. And that is the same thing, right? In terms of technical or infrastructure terms, hardware, virtualization, operating system, runtime, scaling, functions, configuration, you're handling everything when it's on-prem. Now, for internet as a service, the hardware, right, on a cloud platform now, the hardware is being managed by the cloud provider, the vendor. The virtualization is being managed by the vendor, right? But you can manage the OS. You can choose, oh, for this virtual machine, I want it to be Linux, right? You can manage the runtime, right? You can install what you want to install and all of that. You can manage scaling. Okay, this is how I want it to be scaled. Oh, I don't want it to be scaled. These are the functions I want to run, the configuration that you want to make on it, right? You can manage that on a virtual machine, for example. Same thing for storage or whatever it is, for internet and for infrastructure as a service. For platform as a service, it's more managed for you, right? So hardware, virtualization, OS, runtime, manage. All they want is, okay, just get this thing and come and run your functions, make your configurations, scale as you want, right? But we want you to focus on the most important things. We are going to cover all these other things for you, right? That's platform as a service. So in terms of the pizza example now, the gas or oven or fire or pizza will make everything for you. You have your pizza, but just bring drinks, bring your friend, bring your plan your conversation that you're going to have. You're not going to do that for you, right? You decide how you want it to go. The last one is software as a service. Software as a service, you don't need to bring any, just plan your conversation, just plan what you want to say or something, right? Everything is provided for you, even your friends, even the drink, the pizza, everything is provided for you. Just however you want it to move, right? How you want the conversation to go, just plan that. And in terms of technical terms, hardware, virtualization, operating system, runtime, scaling, functions, everything is provided for you. You can just configure it as you want. For example, like with the Gmail or Dropbox, you can just make certain changes to your settings. Oh, this is how I want it to be. This is I don't like this default. I want to change it to this. That is just all, whatever it is, right? Everything is really provided. It's like ready to go. And as you can see here, it's like a party. You're coming to meet it, and everything is ready for you. Just bring your conversation. So yeah, that is a kind of comparison between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. I hope everyone understands that. Okay, next slide. We're going to be talking about cloud deployment models. What we talked about was cloud service models. Cloud deployment model is more like the different ways to deploy your cloud resources. So we have public cloud, we have private cloud, we have hybrid cloud. Can someone give me an example of public cloud? Public cloud. Anybody? You can just unmute your mic.
Azure, AWS, GCP.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's very correct. Does anybody have an idea of private cloud? Want to tell me if you do know?
Okay, they are cloud built for personal individuals or company. We call them cloud native sometimes.
Yes, you know any example?
Let's say right now I don't know, but I feel pipe ups. The new pipe ups should be one.
Okay, all right. Let me explain and give the examples I have. Thank you. Um, so we have three public cloud, as the name is, right. Resources are provided or are operated by a third party provider. Any organization or any user that wants to use it has to, go and access it on demand. Okay, I want this, right, and they will get it. So think of like a shared space, right? A shared space. um think of a shared space, right? Resources or anything that is in that shared space, they are managed by like a third party, maybe like people that are in charge, that they are renting something out to you. They are managed by them. What you come and do is, okay, I see this your chair, and maybe there is a furniture renting, whatever, right? Somebody will just come, I see this your chair, I want to use it for my party from this time to this time, comes and collect it. Oh, I see this your bed frame. I like it. But I'm only going to be here for 2 months. I want to use it while I'm here. Collect it. Oh, I see this your fan. Can I rent it? For how long? This and this. So it's just like a giant public space that anybody, organizations, users can come and access it and rent it and use it on demand, for whenever or however long they want to use it for, right? And you can access it via the web or via an API. And an example or examples would be GCP, that's Google Cloud Platform, AWS, Amazon Web Services, or Microsoft Azure, right? Now, private cloud is different. Private cloud, as the name implies, is private. It's dedicated to a single organization, just like was just explained. A single organization. This is just for me and me alone. So think of something like, I have my personal mansion, my personal space. I have like everything I need inside of them. Whenever I need to use something, I can just get it. I have bought all these things for myself, even if I'm not using it every time. But whenever I need to use it, I can go there and get it. As it's dedicated to you, you're not renting it out. It's yours. Now the advantage of this is that, of course, there's greater control, is more secure, you can customize as you want, right? Yeah, hybrid is a combination of both of them. So it's a combination of both public and private, and organizations can use both of them as they want to. So they can use public for like flexibility and scalability and all of that. Private would help them maintain more control. So they have like very sensitive data. They can Sorry, excuse me. They can use they can use private cloud to have more security or control over their sensitive data and applications, right? So hybrid is like both of them. It's like hybrid is a combination of both. But I didn't mention examples of private. So examples of private would be like um VMware, OpenStack, Dell, HPE. I don't know if you heard of that. Examples of hybrid cloud that does both of them: Rackspace, Cisco, IBM. Those are some examples of hybrid cloud. Now, so in terms of cost, of course, public cloud is the cheapest, right? Or is more cost effective, because it's actually not cheap, but it's more cost effective, right? Private cloud is expensive. Hybrid cloud is also expensive. In terms of which one will be most secure, obviously it's the private cloud because it is yours and yours alone. You can control it. You can ensure that the highest, the most maximum security you want to have is provided for, right? So that is the most secure. Um, in terms of scalability, private cloud is more limited in terms of scalability, right? Now, so in terms of cost as your private cloud is more expensive because you are the one managing all of this, the organization that is in control. They're the ones managing it, providing the infrastructure and all of that. So it's definitely more expensive. Okay.
Hi, Fortress. I think someone has a question. Maureen, I see that your hand is raised up.
Yeah, I want to ask a question. Can hybrid cloud include on-prem and maybe one of the one private or public cloud?
So I think that can be configured, right? That can be worked out. But hybrid cloud on its own is just hybrid cloud, as it's like cloud is different from on-prem. So if you're actually looking at hybrid cloud in its pureness or in its as a concept, hybrid cloud is just public cloud and private cloud. There is no presence of anything on-prem, or like for whatever you are setting up in the cloud, it's like, okay, I'm using this particular set of resources are deployed in my public cloud, this particular set of resources are deployed in my private cloud, and just the fact that you use public and private, it's called hybrid cloud, right? But then that does not stop an organization to say, okay, we still need some on-prem servers, maybe they have some requirements, right? And they set up on-prem. Now that's different from hybrid cloud. They can do that, but hybrid cloud is just the fact that okay, we deployed in public cloud and we also deployed in private cloud, and like that is just what hybrid cloud is.
Okay,
I don't
thank
know if I answered your question.
you. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now some key cloud providers and their offerings. I'm sure we have heard the big guys in the game: AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. We have IBM Cloud. We have Oracle Cloud. Yeah, and they provide like various services ranging from your different needs, whatever it is that you need, they provide them, right? So the the way to choose, okay, which one do I want to use, right? It's more like you have to look at the unique strengths, you have to look at pricing models, which one can I afford, um where area of focus, um capabilities, SLAs as well. So SLAs are service level agreements. Now, service level agreements are like agreements between the cloud provider and the customer, saying, okay, this is the amount of uptime we are providing, this is our response time, this is just these are the things we are providing, right? Or maybe there'll be downtime for some things. Okay, this is how it is, and then it's just like an agreement before you get into anything with them. So just knowing if all these things fit for you. And so there might be arguments about, oh, which one is the best, which one offers more. That differs, right? It can be, it depends on what you want to do. If it's DevOps you're trying to focus on for using the cloud, you have to look at it from that perspective and compare their strengths from both from or what like from your choices, right? You have to compare pricing as well. So some work best for some organizations, some don't work. Like the same ones that work best for some organizations don't work for other organizations because requirements or demands are like unique, right? And the futures of these cloud providers are also unique. So yeah. Now, in terms of cloud and compliance, this is very, very important. I think I mentioned before, right? I don't know if you've heard of the shared responsibility model. Does anybody know the shared responsibility model and wants to explain it like very quickly, maybe in like 5 lines or 2 lines or something? You can just unmute your mic.
Talking
Okay.
about the division of responsibility between the cloud provider and the cloud consumer.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So shared responsibility model, like he just said, is um how the responsibilities are being divided. Now, some people would expect, oh, because I am deploying some resources on the cloud and this is my cloud provider, I'm good to go. I don't need to set up any other thing. No, that's not true. You have your responsibilities, right? So shared responsibility is what the cloud provider would cover you for, what they would secure, and what you as a customer would also secure. Right? And if you don't do that, security is not yet complete. It's not yet complete. It's very lacking. And if it's not complete or is lacking, your data could be breached. Your anything you have could be exploited on the cloud, right? So you need to make sure that you are aware of your responsibilities in the cloud and you execute them. So cloud providers offer a range of security measures like data encryption, IAM, network security, and all of that. But it is your duty. Now, various organizations have their own policies, regulations, like I mentioned, right? It is your duty based on these things to actually configure your security to make sure it covers your policies and your regulation requirements. Now there are in some industries that have to comply with HIPAA or PCI DSS or GDPR rights in terms of sensitive data. Now, the cloud is open to everybody, but as an organization with your unique industry and industry standards, you need to make sure that your security is customized to fit your need, right? Yeah, so make sure that you align, you and your cloud provider security align. So, let me just mention some responsibilities of the cloud provider. They provide the physical security, because as I said, the cloud is actually like servers that provide what we need. So they make sure like these things will be available for you. They are secure. All you need to do is access what you need over the internet. Network security, firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, network segmentation, they provide that. Does not mean you can't also do more of that, right? But they provide that to an extent. Infrastructure security as well, in terms of patch management, vulnerability assessment, security audits, they do that. Now, customer responsibilities. As a customer, your responsibility should be um, data security, making sure that the data you stored is secure, making sure that all your data is encrypted. Who has access to the data? Are they the right people? How are they authorized? Do I have my backup and recovery strategies, things like that. Application security, things you are running on the cloud, your applications, are they secure? Are you having code reviews, security testing and patching, things like that, right? Another one would be access security. Who can access your cloud environment, your cloud resources? Who are your users? Do you have someone that has left the organization 6 months ago and still has access to your cloud environment? That's not right. And definitely it's not the cloud. It's not the cloud provider that should come and be telling you that, oh, you should, or you have to do this, right? The organization or the user should have steps to make sure that these things are in place. So yeah, all of that, passwords, password management, things like that. That's why security is not complete alone with the cloud provider. It's just like I said, you have a secure house, but then you're letting anybody have your key. And your house is not secure, no matter how many bodyguards or security guards that they have placed around the house. As far as they know that, okay, only the right person with the right key can enter. If you give your key to sorry, only the person with the right key can enter. If you give your key to anybody, they'll be able to enter. So yes. Okay, we are coming to a close and end real soon. Use cases and real world examples of cloud. Now, the cloud is not just a concept. Organizations use it, people use it, individuals use it, right? So So like for scalable, reliable IT services, the businesses leverage that for the cloud to ensure that their systems are always running. Cloud hosts many mobile applications and web applications, right? I would mention some of them very soon. Big data and analytics is another area. Businesses can store like a huge amount of data on the cloud, right? Massive amounts of data in the cloud. And then they can even analyze it from there. They can unlock valuable insights from there. This is something like the Google Big Data um adverts on YouTube that we always see. But yes, you as the person said, unlock insights, store your data, unlock insights from there. So organizations are actually using this for various cases. People are using it, right? Um, yes. So let me rush. Okay. So almost done. Does anybody have any questions from what I've said, or maybe like any cloud fundamental question, something you'd like to know? If I can answer it, I'll answer it. Just raise your hand, please. Thank you. Okay, so no questions, right? Please, can you confirm for me, Adidato?
Okay, yes, someone just raised their hands. Olamide.
All right. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, I want to ask, are there situations whereby you can merge two cloud service providers, and is it advisable to do such thing?
When you say merge, what do you mean by merge?
I mean merge. Probably there's a service. Maybe your there's a service that one provider gives you that is much more okay with that there, and there is another one that you have on this like something you like on this other provider that
Mhm.
this other provider is not giving you that up to your
Okay.
expectation.
Okay, so if you're talking in terms of using side by side, right? Maybe I like the experience of using a server on Azure, but um I like the experience of saving my maybe big data on AWS or something, right? Yes, that's very possible. I can do that. But there are some things like, okay, I maybe like in terms of if you're setting like a virtual machine and then you want to merge the networking provided by AWS, I mean that cannot work because those things are intertwined. But services that are kind of independent of each other and you are using them for like you don't need to connect them, right? Yes, of course you can do that. In terms of okay, maybe something you actually need to connect, I don't think that's advisable. No, security concerns alone and then the difficulty in doing that, I've not heard of connections. I mean that could be possible with maybe APIs or something, right? But yes, you can definitely use side by side. You can set up a particular service on AWS. So that's just like, well, this is not hybrid cloud, this is still public cloud if you are using AWS and Azure, right? So you can set up something on AWS, you can set up something on Azure that are independent of each other, and you can use both services side by side. Yes, I don't know if I answered your question.
I think you did to some extent. I was just curious that okay, for instance, now you have your virtual machine on Azure, and
Mhm.
you're using your load balancer and all that on
Mm.
on AWS.
So okay, so yes, so I think it's just like the networking example I gave, right? Because your load balancer is balancing your requests to your virtual machines. It's not something you can separate. Like it's not something you can deploy on another um provider and then expect to load balance to virtual machines that are on another provider, right? Yeah, that would not work, except they've come up with like a new technology for that I'm not aware of, that you can start doing that to load balance from one provider to um to virtual machines on another provider. So yes, that would not
Okay,
work.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I think I can see Joseph.
Okay.
Yeah, our hands are raised up. His hand is raised up. I sorry about the mix-up. Yeah, Joseph, you were saying something. Hi, Joseph. Are you asking a question? Okay. Okay. I think David also has a question. So, David, you can go ahead and ask.
All right, sir. What I'm trying to ask is now is about this course we are doing. Are we the one that's going to provide a class service for ourselves for practicals?
Hmm. Okay, so I think that's something that would be discussed on the community group, right? I think that's something that will be discussed on the community group, but um, there are there are free resources that can be used for testing, for projects that you can easily deploy stuff on, right, for free on cloud service providers for a particular period of time. But yes, we'll definitely make that more clear on the group soon. Okay, Benedict.
Speaking about the community, I sent a request to join the WhatsApp community some days ago, but I've not been accepted. Please, appreciate if you guys
Okay.
can look into it.
Okay. So I did also note your name now. So please, I did also.
No problem. I've noted it.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions? So if there are no other questions, um, I have some very, very easy questions. Very, very easy. So the first one is, which of this is not a benefit of cloud computing? Which of this is not the benefit of cloud computing? Number one is increased flexibility and scalability. If you feel if you feel this is not a benefit of cloud computing, please raise your hand. If you feel flexibility and scalability is not a benefit of cloud computing, please raise your hand in like the next 10 seconds. Okay. If you feel that unlimited free storage for everyone is not a benefit of cloud computing, please raise your hand.
Okay. I think I can see some hands up. I,
Yes.
you can just unmute your mic. I think.
No, no, no. Like they don't need to unmute their mics. I'm just like getting a poll.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we have 6 people that think B is the answer, is not a benefit of cloud compute. Okay, 7. Anybody that wants to join B, please join now. 8 people. Okay, so I'm closing these 8 people. Okay, please drop your hands. Thank you. If you feel cost savings is not a benefit of cloud computing, please raise your hand. Cost savings on infrastructure and all of that. If you feel it is not a benefit, raise your hand. Okay, no hands. Improved collaboration and remote work. Improved collaboration and remote work. If you feel that is not a benefit, please raise your hand. Okay. Any other person? Improved collaboration and remote work. Okay, so we have just one person. All right. So the answer is, which of these is not a benefit of cloud computing? The answer is unlimited free storage for everyone, which is B, right? I mean, there is free storage to an extent, right? But it is not unlimited, right? You have to pay for it at some point, and it's not, yeah, it's on unlimited storage, but you have to pay for it. It's not free for everyone. So that is not a benefit of cloud computing. A benefit of cloud computing is flexibility and scalability. I think we all understand that. We also understand that we are saving costs, but also there is improved collaboration. As I said, you can access your stuff from anywhere. Like if I'm working with someone on building an app or building a particular service on the cloud, I can be in I can be in Nigeria and the person is in the US, and we're working together on the cloud to do what we need to do. Right. So yeah, there's improved collaboration and remote work. So Ola Oluwa, I don't know if that is clarified for you. If you feel like I should clarify that more, you have something to say, you can maybe raise your hand or mute your mic. Well, yeah, I think that's clarified. Thank you, everyone. Second question is, cloud computing is only for large businesses with tons of data. True or false? If you think it's true, please raise your hand. Cloud computing is only for large businesses with tons of data. If it's true, please raise your hand. Okay. If it's false, please raise your hand. Great, thank you. So yes, cloud computing is not only for business, not only for large businesses with tons of data. Cloud computing is for everybody, right? I can maybe want to store 10 gig of something and I say, I prefer this in the cloud and I store it there, right? Yeah, it's for everybody or businesses of all sizes, whether it's a small business, a medium business, a large business. The last question: uploading your cat videos uploading your cat videos to YouTube is an example of using cloud computing. It might be tricky. True or false? If you go for true, please raise your hand. True. Okay, we have 8 people. If you go for okay, please drop your hand. If you go for false, please raise your hand. False, 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 false. Okay, we have one person. So the right answer is true, right? Because YouTube utilizes cloud storage. That's why you can easily like access whatever. You can easily upload stuff and you can easily access it from YouTube. YouTube utilizes cloud storage and that and the processing power. So you uploading your cat videos to YouTube, because you can also go there at any time and then YouTube will retrieve it for you and you can watch it, right? So that is an example of cloud computing. So Joseph, I don't know if you understand that or you want me to explain more, but yeah, that is an example of cloud computing. Um okay, so okay, so before when I started, we are almost done. This is the last thing. When I started, I asked if if anybody feels like they're using a cloud-based application right now. I think I had like just one person raise up their hand, right? So right now, I want you to raise up your hand if you think you are using a cloud-based. You may not have raised up your hand before, but if right now you feel like you're using something cloud-based, an application, please raise up your hand. If you feel like you're using a cloud-based application, raise up your hand. Okay, we have 7 people. So the remaining people, you guys are not using cloud-based applications. Okay. So I think most of us, all of us, are using cloud-based applications, right? In terms of emails rely on like Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo. They all rely on cloud storage to keep your messages as secure and accessible from anywhere. So For example, an email I sent maybe 2 years ago with an attachment, I can just search and I will find it because it has been stored in the cloud, right? Messaging applications, WhatsApp, Facebook, all of these, they use cloud servers for real-time chat and message. Is there anybody that doesn't use WhatsApp here? Maybe you don't, or Facebook or something, I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure we all do. Video conferencing like Zoom, Google Meet, Teams, they are powered by cloud infrastructure, right? So these are cloud-based applications. File storage, as I said, Dropbox, OneDrive, they offer cloud storage. Whatever you store in your Dropbox, in your OneDrive, stored in the cloud, and you can access it from any device. I mean, these are characteristics of cloud, like we mentioned, right? Even your social medias, your Twitter, your Instagram, they use all of this to manage like user data, interactions, things like that. Streaming services, your Netflix, they use cloud streaming, Hulu. I think someone mentioned Spotify when we started, right? Yes, those things are powered by cloud services. Yeah, so I think all of us can agree that at some point we are actually using cloud-based applications. And with that, I will come to the end of my presentation. Thank you, everyone. If you have a question, I don't think anybody has a question again, but if you have a question, drop it maybe here or in the group chat or something. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation and you gained something from it, right? Yeah, thank you, everyone. I think I would hand over to Adedotu now for any other thing he would want to say.
Okay. Thank you everyone once again for joining. It was really nice, like getting people together and hearing your voices on this session. We also hope that we could also get interactive on the group chats, and we also hope to like share knowledge with you too. And if you have any questions, like Patricia said, you can always drop it there, and we'll always be there to answer. Next week we'll be looking at some cloud security, so you're all invited to join too, and we hope that you will have a very wonderful week. So thank you once again, everyone, and have a wonderful week.
Adedotu Bissoye has, I think her hand was raised. Where she has left.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, yes. Sorry, Bishoy, please, you have a question?
No, sorry. I just mistakenly.
Okay, no problem. So does anyone have anything to say before we close the session? Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone, and thank you once again, Fortress. Have a wonderful week, everyone.